YouTube, what's happening? We back again with another installment of the Full Strength. If you're new to the Full Strength, we unbox Jordan's, Nikes, the occasional designer piece, and that's the $1,000,000 question: is it worth the full strength? Full strength being full retail, and in rare exceptions and circumstance, you're talking about resale. Now, I've been away for a minute. That's for two reasons. The first was catching straight L's. The second is then when I did hit on something and I was recording the video, the lighting really wasn't the way I wanted it to look. You know, if you're going to take 10, 15 minutes out your day and watch a video, I do want you to get some production value out your money and really be able to see what I'm talking about. In this video, you're going to see, we're going to be talking like 4 shoes because I went ahead and just combined them into one because you probably already seen the reviews on this one, but still wanted to go ahead and just talk about them because every shoe that I'm talking about, you can still get. They're available in most sizes depending on the model. Now, you will hear me reference some Midnight Navy 1s, but these came out in 2024, so I went ahead and just cut them. I did catch them on sale. If you can throw the white laces in there, they don't come with white laces, but if you can throw the white laces in there, I thought these really set them off. We're going to be looking at the UNC 1s, Reimagine, UNC 12s, Rare Air 1s, and the Max Uptempo 95s, I believe. So, hope you enjoy. Again, we're going to get back into normal cadence going forward. And again, the lighting isn't perfect in this particular video. I think I figured out what the issue is. So yeah, just bear with me on that. But we'll go ahead and get right into it. All right, let's take a look at another pair of 1 highs. Again, I believe you're going to be able to get these at a decent price. Let's see here. UNC 1. Yeah, so here's another shoe you're going to be able to get for the sale. And let's see here, this is the first one that popped up, so let's just run the Hibbett. Let's see what they're talking about. So you got a nice little decent size allotment. Again, they charging full price, but if you're patient, you're probably gonna be able to catch them on a sale. Now, I did pay the full strength for these, but I like them. Now, one thing, again, I've worn these a few times. Now, one thing I will say about this tint on this blue, it is more of a pastel blue. It's not going to be a true UNC blue. It is more of a pastel, more of an Easter type of a blue. Now, just from a purist standpoint, I wasn't really feeling that when I initially got them in hand. But I don't know if that was true to what they were in 85 or 86 when they came out. That I'm not really sure, so I can't really speak to that. But when I did put them on, put them with some nice stonewashed jeans, they was popping. They was really popping. Now, the white is, and y'all probably already know this, the white isn't really that icy white. It's kind of more of a off-white, more of a opaque, if you will. And I'm about to pull out the lost and founds real quick. They went too aged on the midsole. It's almost yellow. Now, as you can see here, you throw these side by side, you can see clearly the difference in the aging of the midsole. Now, this was really not showing up when I was having the lighting issues. You couldn't really see the differences. So, at least looking at the viewfinder, it looks a little more visible here. So, if they would have went with more of that lighter aged midsole on these, I think these definitely probably would have been a little more sought after. And I'm not gonna say they dropped the ball on it because actually this is one of my favorite shoes right now. I've been wearing these a lot. I do like these. Again, clean shoe, but more of an Easter shoe. More of a, that's what that UNC blue is. It's not, if you put it with a North Carolina hoodie or something, it's not really gonna pop right. So speaking of that, let's pull out the other UNCs. Let's do a quick comparison and we'll get to the next shoe. We got three more to look at, and then we'll wrap this thing up. Now, we also gonna leave these ones in the viewfinder for a minute because it came in a lost and found type of box with the mismatched lid, but you didn't get the newspaper lining that you got in the lost and founds, and you didn't get the little yellow card. That was definitely a disappointment on these. But again, solid shoe. Yeah, if you can catch it on sale, definitely a solid shoe. So let's look at these UNC 12s real quick. Now, you can probably look at it just from even the insole. See how the intensity on this one is a little bit brighter? And it almost kind of gives it more of an indigo, closer to the indigo hue next to this. Now, I also paid the full strength for these. Yeah, UNC Mellow 12s. As you can see, these have been worn. Now, the beautiful thing about these is that when you think about the playoffs, the black with the white bottom, that white bottom looks hideous after you wear it after a while, and they don't age as well. These are going to age a lot better, obviously, as long as you keep your dirt and grime off of the side, and you just keep it to the bottom. These are going to look good over the years, as the years pass. Solid shoe. Again, you can pretty much see the difference in the UNC blues. So not really a UNC. Again, this isn't really a UNC blue, unless this is what their hue was in the 80s or something. This is going to be more of that modern UNC hue. Again, these feel comfortable. All these shoes that I've looked at thus far, as I've worn them, they have been comfortable. The most uncomfortable shoe I've worn in the last 18 months was the playoff 8s. Those felt like bricks. Took a minute to break them in. They feel a little better now. But again, let's take a look real quick. Let's see what the price is going for on these UNC 12s, if you can even get these. And that's my daughter in the background making noise. Let's see if they are on Nike.com. So up to a men's 11. So if you're a smaller foot family, you still got a little time. You feel me? You can still come up on a little something, and they may go on sale. You never know. But $205, again, retail, do your thing. And if you want to wait until another Nike sale, see if you can catch them, that's even better. But that's one of the benefits of a shoe not necessarily selling out. If you're on the fence, you can take your time, see if you can catch you a little deal or something. Now, are those worth $205? Let's just say between, what did we just look at? We looked at the navies, these, UNCs, and these. Of the three, if you're on the fence about all three, which one would you go with? Or which one should you go with, rather? You know, you honestly can't go wrong with either or. I do think those Navy ones are going to be a little bit more universal. They're going to be the most universal of the three shoes. This is probably going to come in second, and that's probably going to come in third. But really just depends on preference. You can't go wrong with either one, especially if you come up on sale. Sometimes you just got to do it big. All right. Let's try to wrap this thing up. Got two more to look at. Trying to breeze through this. And we're going to get back to the normal cadence now that we got the lighting situated. All right, we're going to look at another Jordan 1. As you can see, I've been hitting on the ones like that, James Brown style. Now, this is what I'm talking about right here. These ones didn't get these Rare Air 1 treatment with the different paper. Now, Rare Air, again, they kind of, those Midnight Navies, it's almost the same blue. Don't think the Midnight Navy had the aged midsole. And it looks like this midsole, actually look like the UNC is still a little bit darker But the aged midsole, again, I'm kind of on the fence about the aged midsole. Probably would have preferred an icy white midsole on these. You got your navy laces. I didn't pay the full strength for these. I caught these on sale, caught them on a nice little sale. So I had to have them, had to go ahead and pull the trigger on that. Got your black sole there. Let's get the other one out of here. And I don't think there's no other laces in there. All right. Let's go ahead and get the midsole out. I'm going to take one of the midsoles out so we can keep this thing moving. All right, so this is your midsole right here, Rare Air. Went 12.5 on these. That stuff flying all over the place. Now, even though I haven't worn these yet, just looking at them side by side, right now I'm gonna get a crown of these. Out of all the shoes that we've looked at, UNC 12s, the Midnight Navy, whatever, these are gonna take the crown. Let's see what they looking like. Let's find the tablet here. We call it Rare Air. Jordan 1. Okay. See, you got a little bit of Hibbett. Hibbett got a full-size run, but it's full price. So again, you got the opportunity to come up on a sale at some point. Let's take a look at Finish Line. Finish Line has a nice little size allotment. So, oh, see price in bag. Let's try that. Let's put a 13 in the cart here. Add the bag. Let's see. Now look at that. 125. Now this is Thursday, June 19th. So I don't know when you're watching this, but 125, yeah. For 125, that's a go. That's a major go. And of all the shoes that we've looked at, 125 for these, do your thing. Like I say, if I had to give one the crown right now, it's going to this one. You notice the left shoe had the Nike Air. This one has the Air Jordan on the side. Again, you get the Lost and Found-esque box with the mismatched lid. And you get the, different type of paper that you don't get in these. So if you're choosing between these and these, again, if you're just taking color and all that mess out of it, presentation, packaging, this is the shoe you want. All right, let's get to this last shoe. All right, and last but not least, we got the Air Max Uptempos, Ray Allen style, 1995, in the Big East tournament. I believe this is what he wore. So I'm usually a sucker for anything 90s basketball. Got these, I think, off of Hibbett. I just clarnered them up, 4 payments of 50. I think it was something like that, 4 payments of 50, something close to that. Again, comfortable shoe, worn them a few times. Got the max cushioning, so pretty good. They look heavy, they look boxy, but they're actually pretty light. Got your Air on the side with the Nike. Again, this is classic 90s. If you was around back then, you already know what you saw in the East Bay magazine, all of that. So I had to have them. Now, the black and red ones just came out. Passed on those, but let's see if you can come up on Air Max Uptempo real quick. So Hibbett doesn't really have big sizes left, but, if you 8, 8.5, 9, 10, 10.5, you can do your thing, and you might come up on a sale. So I recommend it. I like these if you like the 90s basketball shoes. And these are the black and red ones, Scottie Pippen style. All right, lastly, let's talk about these Air Flight Posit Dusty Cactus. Now, back in the 90s, late 90s, early 2000s, this is what we thought the future was going to look like. These were futuristic for the time. And, you know, now that 2025, and this is allegedly the future, the fantasy or the dream about what the future was gonna be didn't really pan out, if that makes sense. You look at this shoe right here. This is futuristic. It ain't really nothing to talk about. I had some Garnets, not this model, but Garnet had some. They had the like the circle here and then the dots, and it said Garnet. I had some Garnets this color. Oh, and they were so hard. This shoe right here, 250. I mean, 250 before tax. That's the full strength. But because I know they probably ain't coming back, and I know they didn't make a lot of these, I'm gonna have to at least try for them. I gotta try. But this right here, this was when Nike basketball was, I don't want to say at its peak, but this is when it was kind of pushing the boundaries, because this is, you know, your Flight Posit, your Foam Posit, all of that kind of early 2000s when, you know, it was just a beautiful time. Beautiful, beautiful time. So these are on the radar for sure, and then you got the grapes coming out, I think next week. But anyway, if you stuck to the end, really appreciate that. Again, all of these shoes that we looked at are available. You may be able to catch them on sale, depending on what size you are, depending on when you're watching this. And, you know, the value of a shoe ain't if it sells out, because they want $900 for them Kobe Grinches, the green ones. Ain't even nothing to talk about. That's not even worth it. That's not worth it. So I'm just going to wait for Nike to re-retro those. But anyway, hopefully this was informative for you. If you was on the fence, you got some good information, got to see them out the box, whatever. So we're going to try to be a little more consistent now that we got our lighting figured out, hopefully. We'll see once I sit down and edit this. But that'll do it for this edition of The Full Strength. Please comment, like, subscribe. Shout out to everybody that's been doing that. Really appreciate y'all, and catch y'all on the next one.